Yes, 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 we're here. We're here, we're here, we're here. And of course, we are very grateful and have great gratitude towards you for being able to connect in with us once again. You've used your free will to ask us what is the limitations and blocks and what is holding people back from loving themselves, loving others, and being in balance and neutral and acceptance of all as well, and that there is many life contracts that need to unfold exactly as they are needing to unfold, and whether you want to use your free will to have the full range of emotions over others or not is part of your privilege to use your free will. And so are you finding that you are still challenged by other people's choices that may not be your own? We're saying that some of you feel quite comfortable that you've done enough of your inner work and that you're peace and balance. And then, yet, as soon as you find yourself on social media or communicating with certain friends and family, you find that that balance becomes quite stably, that balance you find becomes instability quickly. There is an instability. It's not a true balance. It is all fine to be in balance and harmony in the comfort of your privacy of yourself away from others. That is a great start. Do not get us wrong. That is exactly how you start to go within to find your balance and peace and harmony with yourself. And then remembering how it feels to be in balance and peace with yourself, to have in self-empowerment, to look at any of your insecurities and be able to work on and empower self, and then to be of service to others is you expanding and reaching out to others, because we see many of your brothers and sisters are deeply struggling. And we want to say this in all sincerity. It is beyond madness what they're struggling with, because they have lost hope. They don't find you, they don't feel you. And when they reach out on the internet, when they reach out to those forums to try and find like minded people that may help them, care about them, see them, they feel so invisible. And while you have the luxury of knowing how to have inner peace and balance with your daily life, with being with yourself and accepting yourself, and we say tentatively thinking that you accept others, and yet when you try to apply it, things go astray. And we are saying, you know how challenging it has been to be able to find your own inner peace, to find your own joy, to find your own acceptance, to find your own spirituality, to find your own faith, to find your own courage, to find your own strength. And we know that you are all on your journey towards that. And we say we celebrate that because we see many of you have advanced so rapidly, so quickly, so abundantly, because you have opened your hearts and minds to yourself, to your situations. You have full acceptance. And while you're still learning how to heal from those experiences emotionally, those scars may be fading, those bones are mending, those heartbreaks, they being dealt with. But we are saying the emotional traumas are still lingering for some of you, as you are still afraid that maybe you deserved it. Maybe it was karma from another lifetime. And we are saying, when you can be truly kind to yourself and see that other people around you are still working desperately on their own inner work. And when you assume that everyone else has their inner work in balance and peace and harmony, and still reacting and behaving in certain ways that are offending you, abandoning you, hurting you, this is not a sign of someone who has done enough of their inner work to be able to know that love is key. that empowering others is by loving them completely at all the stages that they're at. And we know many children are more mature and loving and in the ways that they love over their own parents, sometimes even their own peers, because we see many broken children having children themselves. And this is a beautiful opportunity for those children to come in, to be of service to their parents, to be able to teach them unconditional love, to be able to teach them right from wrong in terms of being attentive to children, nurtured children, empowered children. Don't control children with your own irritations and frustrations and triggers, and look at all that you are responding and reacting to. And also know you've all done the best you could. Not many of you have gone out of your way to be a monster to others. And when we see that has occurred, that is because you've been at your breaking point. Not because you've done all your inner work or you're at peace and balance, but because you're struggling and this was a cry for help. And we are saying you've all expanded upon that so much more than you would have and could have previously without you giving such attentive responsibilities and growth in your own inner work. And we see so much improvement, and we see that you're still on this dedicated journey to empower yourselves, knowing the ripple effect out. Forgive everything that you did not know and how you just simply reacted without being responsible or aware that this was all your choices. You get to choose all the range of emotions and feelings that you choose and react and project onto others. We understand from our perspective, watching you all, that you have this assumption that everyone else has what the vehicle could say, their shit together. And we are saying, our dear friends, beloved soul family, the predicament you find yourself in with the density and all of the beyond extra challenges that you're all facing, it is very challenging, and it's very dedicated to one's inner work and growth to be able to truly say, for the majority of your time, that you have the shit together. We are trying to lighten the mood and energy for the vehicle as she is knowing that this is another, with much love, reminder of how far you've come and how much more it is needed from you to be able to support all. We are saying those who are still resistant to be seen in your support groups, in your forums, in your communities that you have online. Why are you still holding back sharing your truth? Why are you still afraid of judgment of others? You know your truth. You know your feelings, your thoughts. You know your research. You know all is purposeful. You know all is well. You can apply all the information that you've learned in your own sessions, as well as listening to others. You know your intuition. And we are saying that for those who keep asking us to give them more strength and intuition, more inner knowing, more connections, more telepathy, more possible ways to channel us and to connect in with us and to be more at one. We are saying you're trying to merge in and hang out with the arm and you're the hand. And we say that is fine. It's an open invitation party. But we're saying that while you're trying to get our attention and while you're trying to hang out with us, there is many not lost souls, but lost egos, many humans, many souls in human bodies, using their human minds and their human perspectives and everything that they've been taught in this lifetime through the main agendas. They are deeply lost and confused and challenged, as they have been complying their entire lives. And they felt that that was comfortable, that would keep them safe. They've got safe jobs, they have safe relationships, they have kept within their normal that is acceptable for their friends and family that they have grown up with. And now they are noticing they are not always as safe as they hoped. They are seeing their friends and family exit. They are seeing their bank accounts being challenged. They are seeing their children stressed and struggling. They see people that were comfortable in their way of life and being upbeat. They see them now detrodden. They see the disarmament of these agendas that are not empowering but disempowering humanity. They are worn down. They are losing their positivity, and they are not sure whether they will see a better day, a better future. And this is when we find them starting to open and ask us questions more than ever before. They're turning to their old religions. They're turning to their old mysticism and their spirituality because they have nothing left. They have no motivation or drive. They are not feeling well within themselves. In fact, they are starting to discover that their bodies are disintegrating and degrading faster than they had expected. And so when they have the looming health risks and factors and expenses to living a healthy lifestyle, to fix their bodies, to fix their families, to fix their mortgages, to fix their careers, to fix all that suddenly seems to have been lost and taken from their grasp, their control, their hopes. This is when they start reaching out to find support. And they have all of this concern and worry and fear. And they will find themselves stumbling into big fear factors of disclosures from what you would call truther communities. And they are despair. They are broken morally, emotionally, because this is impacting them so at a personal rate they cannot turn away now. They are noticing, they are sensing all their worst fears have come into alignment as if they've attracted it somehow. They've manifested it somehow. They may feel like if they start saying some positive mantras, this will change their luck. And we are saying it's not about luck. It's about the grand awakening to get people's attentions, to be able to stop their normal routines, to stop what they think is safe and complying to this narrative, to this agenda that is not empowering them, not healing them or inspiring them to be able to be loving and compassionate and kind and trustworthy and trusting humans towards each other, towards themselves. And they have felt so disfranchised with their own intelligence, with their own intuition, with their own senses, and with their own families having such diversified conversations. And there is nothing more humbling than complying to a narrative that is crumbling right in front of them. And when you have been an ambassador to mainstream media, and now you're own safety net of your own research using mainstream media information as your basis, you're starting to question what you were even standing up for and fighting against and complying with. This is a humbling experience, which is costing many, not just financially, emotionally, and spiritually. And so, when you feel like all is lost, you start realizing how much you've limited yourself. And we say almost the dangers, but almost the way of new revival of living is having nothing to lose and everything to stand up for. And we're saying for so many, has had to get like this despair for people to start noticing. And you will see more rapid declines, getting even more despair for those who are still trying to think that it's just a small temporary trend in economics. It's just a small phase. They'll try to not worry because they know if they start accepting what they see in the trends and the consistent decline, once they actually have faith in what they're seeing and sensing, then how do they manage the despair? How do they find their inner peace? Where do they find their faith that all is well? They may have to go to extremes, and that may be private forums, private groups. They may be so reactive, they may be so hurt, they may be so on edge that when they attempt to reach out, they desperately need a response of a kind person to respond back. You can use the senses you're wanting us to and heighten for you amongst yourselves. We are saying to be of service is to empower yourself and your skill sets. To be of service trains you to feel into your intuition, to feel, is this some small-minded troll that doesn't want to grow and is antagonizing everyone with density? Or is this someone who is so completely overwhelmed with density they're struggling to survive and they're about to drown in the density and give up and drown? And we are saying, many of you don't realize that you are the lifeguards for them. A kind word, a kind response. You're all strangers on the internet, and yet you're all brothers and sisters at a soul level, and yet you avoid each other as if you're real family. For those who don't have full connections to your family, you have the privacy of connecting with people with words. They don't need to know that you haven't done your laundry. They don't need to know that you're still trying to cut down on sugar. They don't need to know that you believe in aliens. They don't need to know everything about you to know that you care about them. And they're not going to judge you for a kind word. In fact, they're going to appreciate you. And this is going to give them hope and another gasp of breath for them to soldier on and to swim and get stronger. And many of you don't understand the power of a kindness of a stranger who's there for them. We understand you get triggered easily when people are saying density, misinformation that's full of fear-based nonsense, because you've outgrown that. And so it just feels tiresome to you to have to what you would say, mansplain the basics to others. But imagine if that's how you felt when someone started trying to inspire you to be able to find your way on your journey. Just because you got to where you are with your steps, your stepping stones, your growth does not necessarily mean that's exactly the same for others. And regardless of where people are at, you all should be able to reach out to a complete stranger online and love them. And yet, it would be outrageous for some of you to think that you would tell a complete stranger that you love them and better days are coming and all is well. And yet that's desperately what they need. Desperately what they need. You know the difference between those trolls who are trying to sell you nonsense, trying to manipulate you. You know your self-value. You know that you have your inner strength. You know you don't need anything from others, and you know that you can keep a healthy balance and respect yourself to be able to respect others. You're not necessarily signing up to a sponsorship friendship. You haven't just adopted someone online to be a forever friend. And so, how are you serving others? How are you going out of your busy days to share your joy, to share your love, to share your inspirations, to share something that made you giggle or laugh or uplifted you or gave you hope or inspired you or encouraged you or supported you or loved you? While you feel like you're all so individual and you don't understand each other and no one could possibly understand what you know, we are saying many are awakening at such a rapid rate, it's not taking them as long as it's taking some others. And so respect everyone's journey and do the best you can to love them and inspire them to go within themselves, to empower themselves, to trust themselves, and to notice how they lose their balance when they believe fear-based information, such as they're never protected, such as they're completely alone. All of that is the disempowering agenda. We've said to you this before, that there is some empowerment and disempowerment even in the spiritual influencers who call themselves spiritual influencers. And you have to have a strong discernment to recognize and know where everybody is at, including where you are at. And we're saying, if you do not know where a certain person is and it doesn't resonate with you, the information they are sharing with you, is it because you've just missed it and have not explored it and you're afraid of it? Or is it because you've already explored it, you know the truth and the bigger perspective, and therefore you have balance with it and it doesn't trigger you anymore? Yes, you have observed this, and yes, you're aware of it, but you also know that focusing and obsessing about certain things that are fear-based only brings down your frequency vibrations, and you respect and value and love yourself too much to focus on those lower density fear factors of conversation and content. And we see many of you are very respectful for your balance because you've played in the density swimming pool too often and too long. Prior, you know that it can be so alluring that while it looks like it's refreshing and interesting and somewhat entertaining, you realize it can easily become quicksand, and your density, your motivations, and your morals and your focus on inner work can be completely swamped and stuck and extremely stagnant. And so We are saying while you're working very hard to empower and strengthen self, we are saying and we're asking you, please, from us, for us, from you, for humanity, share some love, share some joy, share some inspiration. You will feel empowered and higher frequency when you know you've spent some time to love a stranger, to empower a stranger by not necessarily giving them the answers, but by encouraging them how to find the answers for themselves. That is the true empowerment and gift you can give others versus disempowering them by giving them your truth. And your level of truth may be too poisonous for them or too advanced for them to be able to comprehend and grasp at this time. And so keep it simple. Keep it simple with emotions and recognize what they're feeling and be able to find their joy and love and inner peace. And you may easily be able to say to them that you do not know the answers to their problems, but you know when you focus on love, when you know that you focus on the things that give you faith and hope and trust that all is well, this naturally raises your frequency vibration. And then fixating on the density of the lower content and subject and concepts doesn't seem to be of interest because it's too heavy to carry around. We know many of you desperately want to be of service, but you know you do not have the balance or the tolerance or the patience to be of service to those online. And we are saying this is brilliant extra inner work for you to still maintain your balance and still always come from a perspective of love and empowering others, not judging them, not matching their fear with judgment, but trying to see truly with your intuition, with your empathy, and with your own personal experiences of exploring emotions. Feel into that person who is struggling and is boldly reaching out. And this could be even their last breath. And so we are saying, take this seriously, because for many of you who read these posts and just scroll past, not knowing what to say to them or to fix them, to help them, you're turning your back away on soul family. You're turning your back away on a brother and sister who are asking you for help. And you're special. And you are advanced with your perspectives and love. And you are so capable of being there for them if you chose to be of service to them. And so we say, if you dedicate a small portion of your day to send love and share love to those who are struggling, you will see the ripple out effect fast. You will see and feel the upliftment. If you're too shy to share your love to a stranger publicly, then reach out privately and tell them this, that you saw them, you saw their posts, you saw their comments, and you wanted to reach out privately to say that you understand, you recognize where they're at, you were not there long yourself ago, and be a friend. Be a friend. You know the difference between those people who are victim, who don't want to grow, who are just seeking attention because they cannot give attention to themselves, to love themselves, because they have not done any of their inner work. You may feel triggered by them. You may have your own full range of emotions. But mastering your true inner peace is not just about doing it in the privacy of your own home, not connecting in with anyone. And imagine, if you will, if you could master balancing this with complete strangers on the internet to empower and love and inspire them. Imagine what you could do for your family and friends that you still struggle with because you love them so deeply and you want something from them that you believe is your best free will advice and opinions of how they should live their own lives. And you care about them so deeply and they matter to you so profoundly that it is madness for you that they don't listen and comply to your rules and expectations of how they should be. And so when you learn to accept where strangers are at and just simply be there to hear them, love them, and inspire them to empower self, and when you get more naturally comfortable at being that leader of love, being that inspiration, being that motivator, then you will be able to naturally, without being triggering to yourself or to your friends and family, be able to give them the same respect and consideration and compassion for the strangers you have also been able to honor with your perspectives, with your love, and with your joy. And we deeply are appreciative for all of you who can take into consideration how you can be of service in this manner. Because as we say to you, your words are the equivalent of a smile and a hug to a complete stranger who needs the smile and hug from you. We will encourage you. We will guide you. We will show you these people who need your love and support. You will notice this immediately. And please do not hold back your love. It is desperately needed. Share your joy. Share your inner peace. And we say this with so much love and gratitude to you who has been training so hard to find their balance, to find their joy. And now expand and grow beyond this comfort of where you're at now, because you're extremely capable. We want to hold on to this with you for so long, because you know how powerful it is to feel loved and recognized and supported in your times of need. Be that now for many who need it from you. Keep your balance. Do not overgive in terms of your energy. If you're starting to feel the density, you know how to ground yourself. You know how to observe what they're going through, but not absorb what they're going through. You've been practicing this with your own self. Now apply it. Apply it. Apply it. And you will realize you're so much more capable of being an inspirator, a lover, a sharer, and a humanitarian. Those ripple effects we can see already from what you're doing is profound. And we encourage you all to explore and expand upon this. We need this from you, and we appreciate all who can be of service. And we say this with much love and appreciation for all of you who are committed to being of service with their life contract and being on purpose. And we say this with love